welcome our Facebook friends and fans to Around the Block. How's it? Welcome to the show. Good to have you with us. It's going to be a super duper show tonight because we've got some incredible builds with us, including huge cranes. Willi is in the studio. He's complaining it's too hot, which nobody's doing in Johannesburg at the moment, but we've got a really nice heating system in here, it seems. How's it?
Crazy hot. How's it, Thomas?
Yeah, I like it, thank you. So what are we talking about tonight?
We've got a lot of things. Firstly, welcome my guests, our guests, Eben and Ian, to the show. These are two of the best technique builders on the continent. It's no doubt. Maybe in the world, you know? Like the Dutch grandmasters. I realized today that probably if in the worldwide world of building Lego and specifically technique, I found that the Dutch are some of the most incredible technique builders. And I'm not sure why, if someone would know.
Really?
What makes the Dutch people better engineers, or what do they call the dams they build? Boulders. Is that the English word?
Dikes.
Dikes. I don't know. They reclaim land. So
yeah, dikes. And they're so good because they smoke so much weed. That's my proposition. But anyway,
well,
yeah.
That's a discussion for another night, I guess.
Clark Baddison, top fan on board. Jackie Badenhorst, howdy. Ralph G. Steele on board. Dina Torte on board. I was a little bit worried because they were checking into a cafe about 20 minutes ago.
I saw that.
I thought, well,
Christmas in July.
I thought, yeah, we've lost them tonight, but here they are. It's good to see you on board. Paul Rotherham, Dananana on the East Strand on board. Clive Crawford, Letzi Niemand, Bernice Tucker Wilson, and more will join us. Welcome to Around the Block.
Thomas, thank you.
Yeah.
Guys, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Should we start with news?
Yes.
And the first bit of very good news is that Brick Fair is on.
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah, that is pretty good news. We received confirmation today. Brick Fair is happening 26th to 27th October. We will be doing it in a Menlyn shopping centre. Probably by next week I'll be able to confirm who our sponsors are, what the details are, where to register, what to do. If you're part of a lug, check in with your respective lug or their steering committee or their membership person or their events person. They'll be able to give you more details. It's not that it's super confidential. I've just had a crazy week. I've just not had time to focus on Brick Fair.
Is it?
As well. Yeah. But we'll announce details about Brick Fair next week.
Cool.
So while watching a random YouTube video, we all get to that part of YouTube eventually, you know, and just before you get to the I guess popping zits, there was a episode about 107 things, a really arbitrary number that you need to know about South Park. And one of my creative mentors, two of them, Matt and Trey, were the creators of South Park and the live action with marionettes, Team America. I heard that Trey Parker, one of the show's writers, plays with Lego when he has writer's block.
Oh, really?
Which is quite a cool thing, and that's an excuse to play when you should be working. If you're in the creative industry and you're playing with Lego, I guess that's so
can I got a knocking noise in my ear and I can't work out whether it's someone tapping their foot. Yeah, no. Because it just stops. Okay.
Maybe.
Oh.
I don't know. Weird, now it's back. Like doof, 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 doof. Weird. Anyway, sorry. Just in case it was. Yeah.
So, if I can pause myself, when I got to the studio today, I was here before Tom, and the first thing that he said to me is he thinks he's got flu or he's sick, but he's not really sick, and I kind of feel the same. You feeling okay, buddy?
Yeah, I'm feeling better. I've had a week of just feeling not right, which is not unusual. It's this mic here. I've lived in studios for 25 years it's just like a loud knocking noise. Now it stopped as soon as I touched it. Okay, cool. Sorry, Paul Rotherham would understand this. Okay, Paul, sorry, there was a doof 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 in my cans.
Hello to everyone that's joined us. Rian Knobel is online. That's nice to see him. Rian is also one of the great technique builders in the country, technique modders and mockers.
Nadia McGee's on board. Zaptoid, Zap is on board. Peter Furstenberg's on board. Troy Schillen is on board. Julianne Schmidt is on board. Peter Furstenberg, Quentin Fenter, and more. Right.
So the next thing is the idea set. Let me switch to that. The Ideas Treehouse that was released this week, or announced this week, I guess. This will be a very complex build. I don't think, unlike the old fishing stores, it will be a big box of a lot of parts, more than 3,000 pieces. Complex build for experienced builders. And the treehouse is a landscape base, so 3 Lego sort of treehouse cabins in there. And the playability on this model is through the roof. I haven't seen any reviews because it was just announced, but I'm sure people will love this. It's got a main bedroom, bathroom, some kids' rooms. And then the tree has an interchangeable set of green summer leaves and yellow and brown autumn leaves.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Check that out.
What makes a set cool is in areas where you struggle to get foliage, I think that's what it's called, the plant material to build your mocks. This set donates over 180 botanical elements. So it's quite nice that if you build your own modulars and what have you to get it from here. Like I said, more than 3,000 pieces, 4 minifigures. Retail price would be around 200 euros. What is that in rand? Guess 3,000 rand, something
About
like that.
3,000.
That's about the price of the old fishing store. I'm guessing, something like that. What's next? The Lego Tower game. Mention in the comments if you've played this game. There's a video we have of the game in action. So you build and operate your own Lego tower, and as you level up, you get to do more things. And I'm going to be honest with you, Jimmy, I didn't play the game. My wife recorded this on her iPad.
Thanks, Jackie.
But what's cool about this is that you get issued with a unique player ID. This is a 4-digit alphanumeric code, and it allows you to very easily connect and share and I guess play with other people who plays the game as well. The game is available for Android and iOS. I'll share links to the download in the description or in the comments. And if you want to hook up with other people in South Africa playing the game, leave your unique ID and say, this is my ID for the Lego Towers game, that we don't get confused. And I'm sure people will add you and then get connected. I think that's it for the news, Tom.
Like a firecracker. Paul Rotherham says he didn't know I had cans. As I get older, Paul. Yeah, sorry, I interrupted.
No problem. I actually just something else I saw on YouTube this week was announcement through the YouTube channel Beyond the Brick, and they interviewed the producer that made the Lego Masters TV series, and I saw that they announced that there's going to be an American version of it done as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that's something to look forward to as well. For those of you
yes, of course.
that watched the Australian Lego Masters.
Yeah, have you watched Lego Masters? What's your take on the show? Leave your comments. We'd love to see. And share the video. There's a prize sponsored by our friends Eben and Ian. They actually bought a Technique set.
What did Eben bring in?
They bought this.
Check
and this
this
will
out.
be the winner. Whoever will draw it
Check it out.
randomly through the video.
At some point tonight, someone's going to win this tonight.
No, it'll be shared for next week.
Oh, smash the share button or you won't win this. There we go. There's some motivation.
Easy peasy. So let's go to the room and then kick off the models that our guests brought in.
Would you like to know what people are saying?
Let's see.
Okay. Somebody wanted. Clive Crawford says, "Great show to watch. I need some tips for what's that? R-scene the Mustang. Wrecking R-scene. Remote controlling.
There we go.
I need some help. Just checking if you know what you're talking about there. Yes. So, any help for Clive?
Remote controlling the Mustang. Oh, it's such a tight model. There's not a lot of space in there. The obvious thing is where do you put the battery? I don't think there's space in the boot. You'll have to modify that quite heavily.
I don't think it'll be able to retain its original shape. You might have to do some conversion on it or put a trailer on it with a battery back in it.
But you say that, and I'm telling you, if you search now, there'll be a guy from Amsterdam or just outside Ghent that has done it already.
One of those Hollanders again.
Yeah.
If people from Poland are called Poles, what are people from Holland called?
Dutch.
Not holes. No. Okay. Oh man.
Oh, so up to
Yes.
30 members watching. That's pretty neat.
Congrats.
Okay, cool. Well, let's start with Eben. What did you bring and what did you bring to show us?
I brought another one of my concepts. For those of you that watched the last time I was here, I had a chassis version of a mock that I'm doing that's based on Big Red, the Lego rough terrain crane. I'm doing my own version of it, and as if some of you remember the last time that I said that I wanted to do a steering concept that actually can perform the crab function like on the real crane. And I was not happy with what results I got using the Lego Power Functions servo motor for the steering. I just felt it was quite unreliable. It limited the angle it can turn at. It never centered properly, and it tended to get out of sync quite often. So I decided I want to build something that is mechanical that can do this. So I started thinking a bit, and this was one of the first sort of concepts that I built. Tom, I don't know if you want to just have a look here with the video. I can show you. Basically, what this mechanism is it changes the direction the gearing works on the steering mechanism. So just as an example here, I just want to show you that if I turn this one gear towards myself, you would see that the steering rack actually turns away from me. If I do it the opposite direction, I push the gear away from me, the steering rack comes towards me. So the direction of the steering rack and the gear is opposite. So I designed a mechanism that I can change the gears. Tom, do you want to just have a look?
Sorry.
I just want to show you here. These gears, if you look here, they change position. And what that then does is actually changes the direction of the steering mechanism. So now I turn the gear towards myself, and the steering rack comes towards me as well. So I push it back the other direction. Now the gear and the steering rack moves the same direction. So when you link this to a front and a rear axle, I built this into this concept chassis of mine, and I just linked it to an S brick for a demonstration. You can see here that if I turn the wheels on the steering, they work opposites. So that will be normal driving steering mode. Now I reduced this mechanism inside here. If you want to focus on this area here, Tom, you can see there's some parts moving there. Now at the moment this is manual. It will be remote control in the final model. So it does the same thing. It changes the direction of the gears, and what happens now is both wheels turn in the same direction, which allows it to go into crab mode. So, and then when you I get to move my fingers from the dips in the bottom. And it's four-wheel drive, yes. And it's quite strong. I posted a video the other day on the Technic group where I linked up a whole lot of my Technic models after each other, and I overloaded one of my Superlink trucks, and this thing managed to pull all of that.
Wow.
All in one go. So it's got quite very, very good torque to it, and it's quite a simple mechanism. And it works great. It never goes out of sync, and you can see there it's back to the normal four-wheel steering again. And with the way I built the hubs and everything here, I managed to get a very, 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 very tight turning circle, and it turns in almost half the space from that is used by Big Red.
So what's your aim with this? To replicate Big Red, to make it a Big Red plus?
I'm doing like an ultimate version of Big Red. So like you saw on my previous model, I had the outriggers concept that I worked on in that one. So I'm going to combine the two. That was the first attempt, but like I said, I wasn't happy with the steering, and I didn't have enough power in the drive mechanism. So I decided I need to go back to the drawing board and completely redesign it. And that's what people don't always realize with when you build your own mocks, and especially on the technique side, you don't always get it right the first time. Sometimes it takes,
You never get it right the first time.
it takes quite a few concepts to work out certain mechanisms. And you can spend a lot of time with that, and that is fine. I mean, that's probably the part that I enjoy the most with building Lego, is actually working out the concepts, fixing the problem, finding a solution for the problem. And so I'd literally redesigned the whole thing from scratch, focusing it. The previous time I looked at it from an outrigger point of view, and this time I designed the steering mechanism, keeping in mind the space I need for the outrigger system, but focusing it from a steering point of view to get the steering mechanism built incorrectly.
But looking at this, it's already quite dense. Where do you plan to fit the outriggers in?
Oh, no, that comes at the end.
Okay.
That's why you'll see there's a motor there already for it. There's a motor. I just connected the S-brick right there for the moment. The battery pack is just temporary. It'll actually sit on the side here. It's just for the demonstration purposes. But the space still works. The outrigger is still here. It's still the same wheelbase as Big Red, so it still fits in the same dimensions. So it'll scale-wise, it'll be exactly the same as Big Red, although it'll have a better boom on it. It'll have a 3-stage boom with a proper mechanical ram that lifts the boom, and then obviously the proper functioning outriggers and steering mechanism.
Neat.
So and everything will work with S-brick, so it'll be operated from a tablet or an iPad.
So do you design digitally first, or do you prefer to get your hands dirty?
In the beginning, I normally first play with the concept. Like this, I first had to get the mechanism to work, just to get the basic function ready. And then you look at, all right, how do I want to reduce the size, and then get it into the scale that you want. So I would start just by looking at getting the functions working first, and then I will redesign it, making it smaller, looking at the colors I have, looking at the quantity of bricks. Nowadays, I don't really have a problem too much with the quantities anymore. But in the past, I had to look at, listen, if I want to build this thing for 7 axles, I had to say, listen, I want to build all the axles the same color. I had to look at the parts I have in a certain color.
Yeah, having parts in the right
yes,
color.
yeah. So, but nowadays, I don't have that problem anymore. But what I'm trying to do now is actually I'm doing proper instructions for this as well on Studio, so it'll be available on Rebrickable when this is finished.
Are you planning to make this premium product, or will you give this away for free?
It is the first one I'm doing as a proper set of plans. I thought of maybe putting it on Rebrickable, and maybe some of the international people, if they don't mind paying for it, it adds to the hobby. You can buy more parts. But I was thinking, anybody locally that wants it, I'll share it with them. If they want to build it, because this will actually be a set that anyone will be able to build, because of the part count and everything like that. It's not as outrageous big as the other big crane I'm working on.
Well, what Lego gets right, and then they do this really well, is build a crane. If I think specifically for the mobile crane Mark II, that they had, I think, 7 functions running off one motor with an incredible, almost godlike gearbox.
Yes.
I see you have a number of motors. How many motors did Big Red have in it?
It's only got,
It's only got 1 motor in it.
Yeah, that's right, because it's not full RC. It's not full RC.
Okay.
You see, that it becomes a problem. The gearbox mechanism itself ends up taking a lot of space in your model, especially if you do the multifunction gearbox like Lego likes to do. And when you want to start to implement RC into those gearboxes, it makes it quite complicated. It's not always that easy to get the movement of the gearbox selector to do that via remote control, and that's where you have to start with playing with more motors and more channels, the type of models I like to build, I like to have quite realistic function wise and speed wise, so that the actual mechanisms work according to the correct speed. And when you work with something like the S-brick, you can change the speed on the motors a lot. You can play a lot with the strength of the motor or the power that it inputs. on the remote control, you've got variable speed control. So if you only push the button 5%, there's only 5% power to the motor, so you can move it a lot slower. Where that doesn't always work with the gearbox. So I end up putting quite a few more motors in it. I just find it at the end of the day it can get more realistic to build.
There's a question to you from Clive Crawford. He wants to know about the outrageous crane you're working on.
Yes.
How far have we progressed on that since the last episode?
Look, I've been quite busy work-wise, traveling a bit as well in between. I have done some more design work, and the biggest thing at the moment is I need to gather some more parts. So I'm in the process of doing that. It takes a little bit of time. I'm also busy with a conversion for the battery packs to actually have a rechargeable battery inside this battery box.
There's so many questions. The last question I have for you is
okay.
using Lego batteries and S-brick versus using another solution like the Buwers. What are the pros and cons?
I myself, I've seen a lot of the reviews and the uses on Buwers. I've not bought any Buwers bricks yet. I just found that they quite a lot more expensive than the S-brick. And I already have a lot of battery packs. I have some S-bricks already. I'm looking at to see what the Power Up Plus is doing now at the end of this year. So before I really invest or spend more money on Buwers, I would like to see what the Lego capabilities are before I start spending more money. Because at the end of the day, with that big crane, that's got loads of motors, and just on the drivetrain and steering system alone, I've got 14 motors. That's just the drivetrain and steering. So
that's incredible.
Yeah, it'll use a lot of motors, and with the design work that I've done over the last 10 years on that, I've used Lego Power Functions, and when I started doing the design of the chassis and everything, Buwers wasn't available yet. S-brick became available during that, so a lot of my design work is designed around the S-brick and the Power Function battery boxes. So to go and change the whole layout design is going to be a little bit more difficult.
Well, thank you, Eben.
Yeah.
Thomas, I see Paul Doran is actually in the room watching.
Don't joke.
Us. No, I'm not joking.
Paging Paul Doran. Paging Paul Doran.
We still want you on the show.
Paul, we still want you on the show, and every week we page you, Paul.
If you know Paul, please motivate him to come on the show.
Please motivate Paul Doran to come on the show. Dean Boardman says, evening all. Julianne Schmidt's on board. Lego Tower, super awesome. Zactoid says, did I miss the page? I'm not quite sure which page.
He probably did miss it.
Yes. Hilda De La Rosa is on board. Peter Furstenberg says, I love Lego Masters. Wish there was a South African version. Hilda says, hello guys. Hi Hilda. Clive Crawford says, the battery's in the boot.
Of the Mustang. Okay, does it fit in the book?
Oh, okay. Fani van Kraan says, Paul Doran, when will you be on the show? Keep going,
That's
Fani.
funny. That's it.
Keep going.
Pressure him.
Dean Boardman says, wake up, Tom. I'm awake, don't worry. Awesome Lego cam. Yeah, I came up with that now. Did you see that? Now I've got Lego cam. The Lego cam. I'm starting to play. Yay.
So I want to go over to Ian's crane. Maybe he can go over there and talk to you.
I'm going to start here first.
All right. Let's start first. Ian, welcome. Thank you. It's your first time.
How's it, Ian? Welcome.
Thanks.
Yeah, and then if you've been on the show before, you're welcome to come back again. It's Eben's second time on the show, and interesting as always. I think we could do a show dedicated to what Eben is doing. Just remarkable work. Sorry, Ian. Over to you.
This was my very first mock. That when I started getting back into Lego, most guys have a Dark Age. I had a Dark Age Plus.
Yeah.
Because there was a time in my life that I built quite a lot of Meccano models.
Mm-hmm.
And then Meccano spares got very scarce and very expensive. And during that time, Eben had a chat with me and he said, listen, why don't you try some Meccano bolts?
Some Lego bolts.
Oh, some Lego bolts instead of the Meccano bolts. And I started doing that and building more and more and more and then getting more sets. And yeah, that's when, so we can move over to the crane. That's where I ended up.
But before you joined Zalug, you were part of the Meccano Club. So how do I suppose the culture of the clubs differ?
The Lego club in general is, on average, is a lot younger. Most of the guys in the Meccano club were older guys, and they had number 10 sets. And number 10 is like the Holy Grail set. You need that to build big models.
Oh, right.
And to get to a number 10 set, it's very, very expensive. You could import some from the UK that's made up there. But then weight-wise, because it's all metal,
I guess.
it nails you.
Okay.
We moan about import duties on brickling stores on Lego. Now you can imagine what it will be on Meccano. That's very heavy.
So what Ian has built, and Tom is going around with the Lego camera, is I hope I say this right, and please correct me if I don't. It's a barge crane.
Yes.
Are we moving that way?
Yes,
You're
move
going to
that
follow
way.
the microphone because you're going to be off mic.
No, look, our viewers will let us know that we're off mic. So I'll speak a bit louder. I lost my train of thought.
Barge crane.
Barge crane.
Ian told me about this, and I made some mental notes, but I forgot them all. I think something about Panama and the Second World War, and they dropped one in the water and they fell. So maybe Ian can give us some history behind the crane that you built, and then go to the model that you built.
Okay. The history behind the crane is DMAG in Germany got an order from at then the Nazi government to build 4 cranes. The crane that I built is the number 1 of the 4.
Okay.
During the war and then after the war, spoils were shared by the Allied forces.
So this was 4 identical to the same spec.
That's the interesting thing. Not one of the cranes was similar.
Okay.
Everyone had a little bit of a change between them.
Okay.
The one that I built was part of the US treasure that they got. Russia took one. One of the cranes were damaged in the war, and then the last crane was awarded to the British, and while on tow they managed to sink it.
Go Britain.
Yes.
And this one that you built, this is now the one that the Americans took.
It's the one that the Americans took. To get hold of the plans was insanely difficult, or to get any information on it. So you'll see Tom is sharing that I had a hand sketch and 3 photos from just after World War II. The hand sketch was a low table that was done by one of the German engineers. The whole drawing is in feet, so I had to convert from feet to millimeters and then to Lego scale. The real crane is standing at 115 meters tall, where the barge, if you look at it, is actually very small. It's a 200 feet by 100 feet platform, so it's not the greatest or the biggest barge when you look at it, but the crane that I built is then to scale.
So what would the scale be? Thumbs up.
It's about 115 to 1.
115 to 1.
Yeah.
Incredible. Tom, you want to take the Lego cam over to the crane, and Ian can tell us some of the amazing features of this crane. Well, as a technique builder, I'm blown away by this.
Thanks. A lot of people ask me, so where did I get the plans? There are no plans for this crane.
And did you build this on Staro or
No.
LDD?
As Eben said earlier, you do a lot of prototyping when building technique models. So the main mast, the internal, the black part, I had to build that 7 times over. Because you build it and then you realize it's not sturdy enough or it will fall over, and then you have to reinforce it. And the whole crane was built in a modular fashion. And then there was a whole big assembly to put it together.
So I see multiple, I don't want to use the wrong word, hooks on the end. Tell us about that.
Yeah, in total there's 5 blocks on the crane. The 2 main blocks with a lot of pulley wheels are each a 350 and a 350 ton crane. Then the 2 smaller ones with the small yellow beam is a 50 ton and a 50 ton, and then you've got the smallest crane or the smallest block, that's a 10 ton. The amazing thing that the Germans did when they built this, the two main blocks can work independently, but they also can work in tandem.
So this could lift 700 tons and then be a floating barge.
Yes.
Jeez.
The two smaller ones, the 50-ton blocks, also can work either independently or in tandem. This is the only crane, if you talk in a rigging language, that can do its own top and tail movements. So you can do the main lift with your two big blocks and then tandem with the two smaller blocks to lift for instance, what they did to move a submarine and
Wow.
to get it into position onto a dry dock to do work on it and maintenance and all the rest of it.
So the number one crane now, it's still around?
It's currently in the Panama Canal doing a lot of lifting there.
Oh, so it's still in operation?
It's still in operation.
That's
There was a 7-year period where they did refurbishment on it. Because if you think about it, in 1937 to 41, when it was built, a lot of the structures were still riveted. So you have to go through those rivets and through the steel members and make sure that they are still all intact. And so there was a maintenance period on it. Unfortunately, on the Panama one, the 10-ton, can we call it nose piece, was removed due to structural damage. So the one in Panama only got the two 350-ton blocks and the two 50-ton blocks. It doesn't have the 10-ton block anymore.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you say you struggled to get photos. Was it not possible to get photos of the one in Panama?
The photos are taken quite far away, so it's very grainy, very bad quality. I was lucky to find the number of the vessel because each shipping vessel's got a number, and the number for it is YD171. And as soon as I got the number, I was able to go into the naval records in the US, type in the vessel number, and that's where I got the drawing with the load
That's so interesting.
scales on it, yeah, and the load tables.
Nowhere on any other radio show
Yeah.
in the world
Yeah,
today will
yeah.
you hear the word YT171.
YD171.
Only here, folks.
Only here. You heard it here first.
And it's true because it's on the radio.
Yes, if you say it through a microphone, it's true.
Yeah, so is the colours that you chose, the red and the grey, was that significant to the original crane or
The one that's working in Panama at the moment, the main boom is red and white.
Okay.
Eben and myself had quite a long conversation about colors and what will work, and to add white to the color scheme that I have would look a little bit smarty type. So I decided that the structure using dark bluish grey and the light grey does make it look older, and then the main red beam looks in place with the one in Panama. And it,
Yeah, I think you also looked at the actual parts that's available
yes,
in red and white and the grey parts, because some of your structure you had to use certain pieces that was only available in light bluish grey, for instance. So you had to look at that quite a lot.
That is quite a challenging technique,
Yeah.
because technique is rarely or not very often skinned in something. You want to see the interior, you want to see the things move. And especially in the colours like red, it's becoming a bit more popular now, finding other things. But it's actually amazing how many parts you did find in red to make up this one boom part. Off camera earlier, Ian showed me some of the functions of this, and it's a fully functional crane. Tell us about the power functions, how many motors and batteries and remotes and what have you.
currently there are 4 battery packs. One is in the barge, and there's an extra large motor with a insanely reduced gearbox. Because the real crane's total time for a revolution takes 10 minutes.
Oh wow.
And I tried to mimic that as close as possible. So my crane turns extremely slow. What annoys me a little bit, and there's no way about it because Lego gear's got a backlash in it. So when you start the crane, it looks like nothing's happening, and then slowly the crane does start operating. Then the main functions for all the blocks, there's 8 medium motors and 2 medium motors per IR channel.
IRS infrared too.
Yeah, I worked that out.
You worked that out,
Yeah,
eh?
that one I got. Eh?
And then there's a large motor for the luffing screw that makes the boom tip forward or move it backwards.
So we're exhibiting at the WRO event. WRO is the World Robotics Olympiad this weekend on Saturday. If you want to come through to the Stain City School, we should be there between 8 and I guess 4 o'clock. Will this be on display?
That will be there, and I will actually have not very long sessions, but I will have sessions where I operate the.
Yeah,
the
that's
crane.
it. So if you want to see the crane in action, pop around
Fantastic.
to the WRO event.
Are you taking something?
I am.
Taking your balls?
We taking the balls, Tom. The ballers are going to be out. The Great Ball Contraption will do a dry run for our big event at Clearwater Mall. We've got a team of 7 builders, incredibly incredibly talented builders. Guys that are really out of their comfort zone building great ball contraptions, and we hope to learn a lot for our event at Clearwater. And then what we hope to learn is how the team performed, what communication we need to do, who needs to be on picking up balls and explaining to the public. Eben and Ian are part of the Great Ball Contraption crew, so I want them to put on record that they will sometime build a module for this project.
I think I'm going to try and get one for this weekend, just a very basic one, just so that we can add a module.
That's
So
what we want to hear.
hoping to. We actually both said we actually got some plans, so the idea is to have it done for the weekend. So we'll see if we can get that done.
So the current world record for Great Ball Contraption circuit is held by my friend Maiko. And where do you think he would be?
Norway.
No, man, Holland.
Holland.
And what we're planning is the Great Ball Contraption circuit at Clearwater would be probably the biggest one in Africa. South Africa that I know of. We've never heard of a Great Ball Contraption being on this level. We've got an area dedicated to it, but more about that later. Closing thoughts on the crane. I mean, I see you use some of the batteries in strategic places to add weight as a... Is ballast the right word? No?
Ballast, yes.
Yeah,
Ballast.
yeah,
Look at
and
me.
as counterweight.
Counterweight, that's it.
Because the luffing screw will only work if you've got the correct amount of counterweight. Otherwise, to lift up the tip while there's a load on it, the boom just will not lift. There's a very fine balance point where you need that. Then if guys want to build something big in technique, Eben can attest to it, we use a lot of parts. And what helps is, I know you like the white parts, but we use colored parts to build our prototypes so that you can keep your dark blues grey or your light blues grey separate for your main build to actually see how it's going to turn out. But yeah.
Well, what I'm looking forward to seeing is if you would be on an episode of Block Plays. I know you've been on with Peter.
Yes.
And I mean, I don't want to be rude about this or selfish, but an episode dedicated to just this crane. I mean, I think you could speak for half an hour or an hour just to explain the luffing screw.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's something that I can have a chat with Peter and do an episode on it, yes.
Yeah, Peter. Yeah. Ian. You might remember Peter was on our show a couple of times. He does an incredible show called Block Blaze, and he had an interview with Wayne in
I watched it
Mpumalanga
today.
somewhere. Yeah? What
Yeah,
do you
it was
think?
very good.
Yeah, it was
Awesome.
very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a very good.
Wayne is
episode,
really one of the best builders in the country. I love to see the ingenuity and what he gets done out of parts which shouldn't be used in a specific way, and then still all so-called legal. So shout out to Pete. Well done. You're doing fantastic work there. Thanks, mate.
Comments quickly. Joe Kirsten says, crazy. Just amazing work, Ian. Julianne Schmidt says, incredible. Clive Crawford says, amazing. Troy Shelton says, awesome build in history, Ian. Zaptoid says, insane build, mate. Chris McGee says, I'm getting a proper history lesson here. Dean Boardman says, I'm wowed. Kerry Jerling says, amazing engineering, Lego building skills. Skyle Mew says, Ian, any other ideas for future historical Lego builds?
I like the older type, huge construction machinery. And Carl actually works with me, and he showed me a barge dredge that was used, or what was drawn and built late in the 1890, 95, around there. And I'm planning to go through the drawings and then build a big barge dredge from that era.
That sounds very cool. I mean, before that, we'd like him
Yeah.
to build 2 or 3 modern-day great ball contraption modules.
The
There's the
interesting
kicker
why
for
not?
I'm actually going to build that barge to be part of a GBC.
Yes,
That's
it's
what we
a-
like.
So you heard it here first, folks.
There's actually a very interesting dredge as well. I don't know if some of you guys know the Gold Rush TV series on Discovery or National Geographic about these guys mining for gold in the US. And one of the teams they actually got a second one now. They used one of these old dredges that they used to use in the 1800s, and they rebuilt it and got it to work. And it's quite an interesting machine to see it operate. So yeah, I think we're all
That's
looking forward to
fantastic.
see that.
Chris said
go?
he'd really like to see the crane in action, so he's come along to Stain City. eh?
Stain City
Yeah,
School.
Stain City
It's
School.
just outside. It's
This weekend.
I think from Cedar Road you turn into Stain City, and just as you turn in, I believe it's on the left-hand side. It's not inside the. I don't know. I've not been there, but you know, thank you Google Earth, I guess.
Yeah.
2 of our younger viewers have sent us pictures. Willi, can I put them on the screen quickly?
I'd love you to put them on the screen.
So first up is a young Ulrika van. Now hold on, I can't remember Ulrika Janse van Rensburg. There we go. Ulrika Janse. This is young Janse van Rensburg's, not Jan Janse van Rensburg's build. I got it out my mouth. Luan, so project, you say. Daar say. Well done. Maybe we'll get some likes for that. I'm going to smash the like button for that. And then Fridge Findley, Grant the Fridge Findley's son, we're going to call him Mini Fridge or Bar Fridge for short, put this build together. Well done, young Fridge. Nice one. We'll see if we can get some hearts and some likes. These youngsters are good, eh, Willi?
They are fantastic. They're all technique builders, and my stream isn't working. It seems it's a bit slow.
Yeah, I also just had a problemo, it seems.
Yeah.
Okay, so well done to the youngsters that have sent pictures in. We want to see pictures and videos of your builds too, so just message us. Send it through to us on Facebook Messenger.
We asked last week, a little bit clumsy, to share a interpretation of a selfie, and you know how many people entered? 0.
Yeah, I think.
So the techniques that I was going to give
Is
away,
that-
I'm going to keep it for myself.
Is it too late for me to enter one?
No,
Oh, okay.
it's never too late.
All right.
Uh,
What else?
What else? Let's talk about some upcoming events. So this weekend, K-Plug is exhibiting in Bloberg at the Seaside Village Mall, 9 to 3 o'clock. kplug.co.za or reach out to Colleen or Barry. They'll give you details. As mentioned, we are at the WRO. Eben, Ian and myself will be there doing GBC, doing big cranes, mobile cranes, big red concepts. It's going to be fantastic. The week after that, we'll do at the North Provincial Final at TUT, the Tennis Bester Hall in Pretoria. And then Clearwater coming up. It's a month away, Thomas. A month
Wow.
away for the biggest Lego event in Johannesburg.
Good. Looking forward to that.
We will have the biggest GBC circuit. There'll be a ton of exhibitors. I think we've got 60 tables booked, 50 tables
Wow,
booked.
it's a big
Wow,
deal.
something like that. It's bigger than last year. We've got 64 extra square meters that the mall gave us at no charge. So shout out to Jess at Clearwater Mall for sponsoring the space. And then we'll be nerding out properly at Comic Con, 4 days from Saturday the 21st to Tuesday the 24th of September. Can't get free tickets. Everyone asks, can you get free tickets to Comic Con? No, if you're a nerd, go pay and support the organizers. No?
No sympathy from Willi.
Well, a little bit. No, nothing. James, thank you for coming in. Any closing thoughts?
It's a pleasure. Yeah, no, I must say I'm looking forward to this weekend's event, and thank you for having us here again. It's always a lot of fun to come here and spend some time with you guys.
Eben Esterhuizen, for being on the show, your very own Around
Thank
the
you
Block
very
brick,
much.
sir.
That's very nice.
Ian
Thank you.
Koegelenberg, for that
Thanks,
bringing
Tom.
your amazing crane in. Thank
I
you.
wanna
and you
give
get
this
your very
away.
own. And we're giving that prize away to...
Do you know who?
This belonged to Taylor Swift at one point in time. I have it on good authority from Mrs. Swift, who is a friend of mine. Who are we giving it to?
We're giving it to Dina.
Dina! Pretty ballerina!
Dina
Everyone's
Tate.
getting a song.
Ralph-
Dina Tate.
Ralph's
Well
partner.
done, Dina. You're the winner.
And she won that just for sharing the video. So if you want to share
this friend.
share the video, there's a technique set that Ian and Eben brought in. We've got 19 shares already, so if you want to have a chance to win a pretty cool helicopter and jet, I don't have my glasses on now, it's a red and white set, Tom will show it again. Hit the share button, get people in. Finally says he wants to see the crane in action. Come around to Stain City. We'll have a demonstration a couple of times a day at least. Yeah, that's it. So what else, Thomas?
Flight on Stories 8.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
Can you whistle?
You know, there's a parrot downstairs at the Westpac food
No,
shop.
really?
Yeah, in a cage at the entrance. And every night before it sees me, I go, and I've been doing it for 4 months. Now it waits for me. 6 o'clock at night, that parrot's looking around the corner. And that's why I'm so confident about my whistling skills. I have whistled every night upon entry at the Bel Air Shopping Centre for 4 months now.
Mm. And does the parrot respond?
He goes,
Excuse me, Thomas, how does that go?
he goes, you saw it here first, folks. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Eben and Ian, for coming in.
Cheers. Have a lekker night. Listen, Stan Katz is up next on Radio Today Johannesburg's page. You can watch an interview with Stan and Mark Banks. I think he's one of the funniest guys in South Africa. A legendary, acclaimed comedian, Mark Banks, in the studio in just a couple of minutes with Stan on the 4-piece. Make sure you tune into that or press play on Facebook, 8:10 the time. I'm Tom London. I miss you.
Stop.